I've got that new Metallica song in my head pretty bad.
Oh, do you? One of the guys at work has been blasting the song, I think, on repeat nonstop. All good.
Big Metallica fan my whole life, so
yeah.
Well, a new album doesn't come along every day, so.
Oh, for sure. Yep, definitely.
Wanda's big into them too, so she's pretty excited as well.
Okay. I just retweeted, and we'll get started here in a second. As we're starting, well, we actually are.
Full mercy.
It's going live right now. Well, let's start.
Sure.
And 3, 2, 1. Welcome everybody to SQW Full Mercy, starring yours truly, Dolly, running out of time, Dimovsky.
And Big Daddy John Keogh.
Nice. And we're going to call him JJ Carpool Holder because he's stuck in the carpool lane right now and can't join us.
That's too bad, but
that's all right. But it's okay because we have a fun short episode today. I figured let's get up on the airwaves as we're. So we just let everybody know we are being hosted on a couple sites. Actually, we're on Podbean and we are on SoundCloud, and I have the RSS feeds for both. I'm just trying to figure out what would be the best monetary value for me because these things actually cost money to host podcasts, unfortunately. So I'm trying to figure out what will be the best way to do it. So we'll mess around with those. Something will be up on iTunes soon. In the meantime, keep watching us on YouTube. We are thankful for our many dozen of viewers that are watching us. But we'll have everything up squared away here shortly. But we're gonna hop into the show. I did want to bring up one thing after we got done watching or talking about the Monday Night Wars last week. I actually spent some time over the weekend watching the emergence of the NWO into WCW, which was fantastic because, man, they went after Hogan and the Outsiders, right? Because they had the Outsiders. I think they were beating up folks in a match, and they came out of nowhere. And then Hogan comes out, and he's kind of spitting on everything, and they're calling him just the worst names possible, like the announcers are. And like, this is horrible. This is garbage. I can't believe he's doing it. This is so disrespectful. And it was brilliant. It was actually brilliantly created. And you felt as though he was a horrible human being, notwithstanding all the news that has gone since then about Hogan. But back then,
yeah,
you felt like he was an actual bad guy, and he was a complete outsider with the Outsiders National coming in.
Just a despicable person.
Yes, but it was done so well because people started throwing crap into throwing stuff into the ring, like drinks and food and that kind of stuff at them.
Garbage. If they only had tomatoes, they'd probably throw them too.
Well, that became a thing, didn't it? Like every episode, there was stuff being thrown into the ring.
Well, I mean, there was a period there where almost every episode of Nitro ended up with the NWO just beating down everyone.
Yeah.
And it became a bit of a recurring theme. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Until they got really cool, more cool than everybody else.
Yeah, exactly. So the NWO was started with Hogan, Nash, and Hall. And who was the fourth? DiBiase, the fourth one that joined? I couldn't remember.
DiBiase was in there, and then
he was the money behind.
And the Giant joined.
The Giant joined. Yeah, I remember when he joined. There's actually a great. I think I watched that episode of Nitro. I think it was because it was a great, just an awesome finale where the Giant comes in and they think he's gonna rescue whoever Hogan and Nash and Hall are beating up on. And then he starts just dropping choke-slamming everybody left and right, and then hugs the team, of course, and they go back up to the announcers table where everybody has left, announcers left, and they took the microphone and gave just an awesome, speech about the NWO and how happy he was to join in, how DiBiase told him that he could have a $1.5 million house and all that fun stuff. It was really cool. So watching those early episodes with the NWO is terrific viewing. I'll have to. They're up on YouTube, and I'm sure they're up on WWE Network, of course.
Well, I mean, even just one more word. I mean, even now that stuff is incredibly fresh. Just the way that it was, it comes across. It holds up quite well. You know, I mean, eventually the NWO definitely, you know, just stayed too long, or it was the same thing over and over. But like you just said, those first couple of episodes, you know, I mean, you might even go so far as to say the first year of the NWO. When they were really dominating, it was just the hottest thing on the go back then. And
totally.
You know, and me being somebody who didn't have access to WCW or Nitro, I mean, I was dying to see what was happening, and that was at the infancy of wrestling on the internet, like the internet wrestling community, as everyone calls it. IWC is a common phrase now, but back then, all it was news groups on what was it, rec.sport.pro wrestling was the, that's what, I mean, that's the closest thing to Twitter as you could find back then, people posting about what they were watching. So
and they were posting live and everything. It was it was great for me because I'd watch every week to find out if there was going to be a new member of the NWO and who would turn heel. You know, it wasn't even heel and face. They were their own thing, which was pretty cool. So anyways, maybe we'll get into those again you know, sometime down the line here of the show. But I highly recommend just do a search on YouTube or WB Network for those first, you know, the first reveals of the NWO and really enjoy it because it's pretty awesome. So let's talk about this week. We're gonna make this like I said a shorter show, but that's quite all right. No Mercy is coming up this weekend on Sunday.
It is.
And John, you actually had a good idea. Let's make some predictions for this. This is a Raw show or is it a SmackDown show?
It is a SmackDown.
It is a SmackDown show. Okay, I just want to make sure. Sorry, I know they alternate, and it's been a long week for me for work.
No worries.
But there's a bunch of matches going, and I wanted to kind of go through the matches with you and JJ. And again, unfortunately, JJ couldn't make it, but we have his predictions, which are actually kind of interesting. So let's go through the matches and make some predictions of our own, and then we'll check back next week and see how we fared.
Sounds good.
The whole kickoff of No Mercy is Jack Swagger versus Baron Corbin. Now, from my standpoint, I don't know who Baron Corbin is, but I know who Jack Swagger is, and I'm still kind of green to a lot of wrestling. So I'm going to say Jack Swagger only because I think he's more of a name than Corbin is, and it is a kickoff match. So,
well,
that's
I mean,
really my only,
It's funny you use the word green. You know, Baron Corbin he's getting better and better, but he's still a little rough around the edges in certain ways. I think he could have used another year in NXT just to simmer a bit, but he seems to be the king of the pre-shows when it comes to most events these days. But you're totally right that Jack Swagger is more of a name, but I think Corbin probably needs this win so he can move on out. You know, hopefully out of the pre-show matches. So I'm gonna go Corbin on this one.
Okay. And we didn't get a prediction from JJ on this, but that's quite all right. The next one is, and I'm going through the list on W's website, Nikki Bella versus Carmella. Why don't you go with your thoughts? And I got my thoughts on this, but I'll let you go first.
Well, the summary of the storyline is that Carmella came up from NXT at the draft, and Nikki came back from her really bad neck injury. So it would seem in the last several weeks, Carmella has been attacking Nikki at every turn she gets from behind. I think this is the first time they'll face off face to face in an actual match. So, my heart says Carmella because I think she could use the win. It would be a big deal for her to elevate herself. But I think Nikki gets some revenge here after all there's been weeks of attacks. So I'm gonna go Nikki, unfortunately.
Okay, I'm gonna go with Carmella because you mentioned the NXT kind of storyline, and they've been grooming her to become more of a name, I think, in WWE. At least it seemed like it over the last few weeks that I've been watching. But so I think that she's kind of due, and I know that there's been this comeback for Nikki Bella. which has been kind of a cool storyline. But I think they want to get Carmella up there, and I think this could continue the rivalry if she beats Nikki at No Mercy and then propels herself, further forwards.
That's what I'm hoping for. I mean, totally. But my heart says Carmella, my head says Nikki.
Well, that kind of leads into. Excuse me, this is where I need the coffee. This leads into the match between Becky Lynch and Alexa Bliss, I believe it is.
Yeah, it is.
And so Becky Lynch is the current SmackDown Women's Champion. And Alexa Bliss has the whole. Is she the one that's come out dressed like Suicide? What's her name from Suicide Squad?
Harley Quinn.
Harley Quinn.
Yeah,
I think a little. I've seen it on like promos and stuff. So I'm gonna make a prediction that I'm gonna say Becky Lynch is gonna win. Only because I think that's going to set up a good storyline for Carmella moving forward. I actually think there's going to be a good tie in there. Because again, they're trying to get Carmella. Hopefully, it's not too quickly for Carmella. They don't want to get her up too quickly, and then she's worn out or welcome too fast. But I think this could potentially set up a good plot for further down the line. So I'm going to go with Becky Lynch on this one.
Yeah, that's not a bad point. Just to go back to Carmella for a moment, she's definitely found a good character now as a heel. Yep. I mean, I thought that. She was in buddy with Enzo and Cass for a long time and playing that up a lot. So, but she's coming out without them, and people are like, "Who the hell is she?" Because she's very new. But yeah, that's not a bad plan actually with her stepping up because she's pretty good. She can work a decent match. But but Becky, I think Becky is going to retain over Alexa. If anything, this is her first defense since winning her first major defense since winning the SmackDown Women's Championship. So I don't think Alexa is quite ready for the championship yet, but I don't think Becky's ready to lose it. I think it'll be a good match actually. Alexa's not bad either. She's come a long way as well. So, but Becky for the win.
I think Alexa has a good character to her, as well, and I think that she can kind of go forward with her personality. It may not really need the championship at the moment.
Yeah, I think she'll benefit from the loss. I think she's impressed a lot in the last few weeks that she's been involved in this feud with Becky. So good for her.
So that moves us on to the tag team championship with the current champions Slater and Rhino versus the Usos. Yes,
yeah, very very interesting match because both teams have a lot of momentum. When the last event, whatever it was, the last SmackDown pay-per-view when Rhino and oh my God, you just said his name.
Slater.
Rhino and Slater won the belts, and they won the tournament and stuff. And they're riding a pretty big wave of positivity. But the Usos have really been nailing this heel turn that they've been on. It might be a little too soon for them to get the belts. So let that percolate a little bit longer as well. But again, there's a little bit of striking while the iron's hot with them too. Because the Usos needed this heel turn bad. So maybe a loss, they can just turn it up another little notch as well. And they've got a thing going on with American Alpha, breaking their legs and all these kinds of things they're trying to do. So it's I'm gonna go Slater Rhino.
Okay, well I'm gonna say the Usos, and I'm gonna say this because Slater and Rhino is currently running for state representative within Michigan here in Michigan, and
you're predicting your votes.
I'm predicting for votes. Well, he won't be able to retain the belt if he's in public office. So this could be a way to get rid of the belt just in case he ends up winning, and then have him win it back in November if he doesn't win the political.
So he loses the belt and gets a sympathy vote.
Exactly. That could be it. There you go. So I'm gonna go with the Usos. Yeah, they're striking while the iron is hot with them, and I think they actually have kind of a unique look to them. And Slater and Rhino have Rhino's had a long career, and so he's not a young guy, but at the same time he's always been, he's made it up to championship caliber. But I think it's time for the Usos personally, and then I think that opens the way for Rhino to be championship free when he goes for the state representative or state senator or something. But
yeah, I'm gonna go with you. Well, no, I'm not gonna.
You're going against me.
I'm going against you. I'm gonna say Rhino and Slater win this, and that brings Usos up to another level of heelness, and the Usos are going to win those belts, and then American Alpha is going to chase them at some point. Whether that happens now or whether that happens at Survivor Series, it's one of the two is going to happen.
Okay. Up next, we have the Intercontinental Championship with Miz, who's the current champion, versus
that's a big one.
Dolph Ziggler. And the big stipulation for Ziggler is,
if Ziggler loses, he is gone. He leaves wrestling. And they've been very careful in their wording about the stipulation. It doesn't mean that he is back in 3 weeks. It doesn't mean that he goes to NXT. He doesn't go to Raw. He's out of wrestling. You know, that they've been very emphatic to say that if he loses, he's gonzo. So it's hard to say what to think about that one.
Well, I'm going to lead in with I think he's popular enough of a character where they don't want to lose him. And I think The Miz has had this kind of great emotional he had that speech a few weeks back after was talking smack.
Yeah, he's been on a real hot streak lately.
He's been on a hot streak, and I think a loss to Ziggler will actually help The Miz as a character, because there'll be this weird, almost like a weird level of sympathy if he loses, right? Because then you got to think, oh man, obviously he's lived for this title. Yeah, he's held championship belts before, but this is his title right now, and he's poured his heart and soul into it, and he's got all these naysayers within the WWE. But if he loses it, I think that opens up a big pathway, or opens up a lot of avenues for where his where he could go next, whether it's up or sideways or start new rivalries or whatever. I think it's I think it's a very interesting story or push if he loses. So, and again, I think Ziggler's popularity is starting to move back up again. So I think they don't want to lose him. So my prediction is Ziggler wins.
Yep. Yeah, I'm leaning towards Ziggler winning. I mean, there's the pure. Well, they're not going to want him. He's not going to actually go. So right. They book themselves into a corner, but so they have to let him win. I think what you're saying is actually the better case. I think the Miz he's on such a hot streak of really being very emotional, as you say, and driven, and having Maurice there has been really a big boost to him, and the way he's cheating to win now, which is really great for heels.
Sure, yeah.
That's what they're supposed to do. So I think Miz is probably on the cusp of being ready to move up to a main event spot and challenge whoever the champ might be at the time, whether that's Ambrose or Cena, or I mean, I don't think he'll challenge against AJ, but because AJ is also a heel. But that being said, I think the upside for the Miz right now is as an all-time high now. The highest he's been in a long time, and I think my only question is, what do they do with Dolph as the champ? Like, what's the new thing he brings to the table? I really don't know what that is. Whereas the Miz with the title is a little shinier to me, but I think I'm gonna go with Ziggler for those two reasons. I don't think he's gonna leave. I don't think they're gonna get rid of him. I don't think he's gone. And Miz is he's ready to move up if they want him to.
Now, could it be match interference where the Miz loses through disqualification or something, and Dolph wins and doesn't get the belt that way?
That's interesting.
Because one of the things I was thinking, when you bring up AJ Styles, you bring up some other stuff, but that way there's a possibility that Miz retains the belt. Dolph doesn't get booted from the WWE, but now he has this rivalry with whoever this third person potentially could be. I don't know. Maybe there is some opportunity for something of that route. I mean, that could be kind of an easy way out because it would be a technicality, blah blah. But that could be one way to do it. I do have predictions. I totally forgot to look at JJ's predictions for a couple of the matches already. He thinks Lynch is going to win. Bella, Nikki Bella, and then he thinks the heel Usos are going to win, and he also says Dolph is going to lose.
Dolph's
so
gonna lose.
Interesting there. So we'll see where he's the only one of us three that thinks Dolph is going to lose. But again, maybe there's some weird disqualification thing that could go into that.
So. Well, part of me thinks that they wouldn't be so emphatic about him being gone without some sort of a backup plan or story for him to somehow, whatever that is, for him to come back or do something different. But I'll stick with my Dolph prediction, because I think like Miz moving on. I was just thinking maybe not to the championship, but put Miz, like, as we're going to get to, as a triple threat for the world championship. So if, let's say, Ambrose loses, or AJ retains, or Cena wins, Ambrose doesn't move down the card, but like he and Miz kind of hit an intersection point.
Sure.
So Miz versus Ambrose for a while wouldn't be a bad feud.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Moving on to the next match. Randy Orton versus Bray Wyatt. This is, I have a feeling it's going to be a really good match.
I think they're going to work hard. I just don't know whether or not it'll succeed. Like the story, the weird, kooky kind of storyline they've been going with has been a little weird, or not really working on every level. I don't think. I get a lot of negative vibes online about the feud, but I don't think Bray has not had a great history of winning on pay-per-view in the last year. And Orton just came off that loss to Brock, so Orton stays strong by a win over Bray, is what my head says. My heart says Bray has some surprise, like a returning Luke Harper, or reveals Sister Abigail or something, and gets one over Orton. But the brain says Orton to win. Okay,
I'm gonna go, just to mix it up, I'm gonna say Bray is going to win, only for that reason, and plus I've kind of fallen out of love with Orton over the last few months, I guess, maybe the last year. I just think he hasn't been, the WWE may be squandering him a little bit. I mean, again, he has this long line of he has wrestling in his blood, but and they played that up a lot when he first joined the WWE years ago, but I think they've kind of squandered him lately. So I think Bray Wyatt's going to win and kind of help his case out a little bit, and hopefully he needs it. And I'm hoping that a loss could help, could kind of move Orton around a little bit and get him set up with some other rivalries somehow. This has a potential to be a really interesting match. A really kind of,
I think it'll be a great brawl.
A brawl, exactly. It could be a good brawl. But I just can't see Orton. I mean, these guys are they're very different types of fighters as well, right?
Very much so.
Yeah, and you have Orton, I think, is a little bit more technical, and Wyatt's more of a brawler type of guy. But so this I think will deal more with a brawl, and I think that's maybe what puts the win over. So we have some comments right now coming in. Our good friend at Capradork says, can't wait for Randy versus Bray, just so I no longer have to watch them play hide and seek backstage.
Yeah. I'm hoping that
those mind games have been.
It gets a cap. Yeah.
Exactly. Thanks, Chris. Yeah, I totally. JJ says that Orton's going to win. So
using his brain.
And finally, the big one, the WWE World Champion AJ Styles versus Dean Ambrose versus John Cena. So this is a big match, a three-way match. I want to say three-way, triple threat match. But these are always interesting when they're up for like title matches, right? So they're, I think you typically don't, or it's a lot harder to call who the winner is going to be in these. Usually, if it's 1v1, you can kind of make a good educated guess as to who's going to win. But matches like this are more difficult. At least for me, they're more difficult to predict going in. And I just kind of look for interesting wrestling. And, my brain is telling me that it's going to be either Ambrose or AJ. But for some reason, there's a part of me that says, you know what? Don't count out John Cena for them giving him, for him getting the belt and kind of coming back as like the big star and way back from injury and whatever. And so this one's very hard for me to predict. Very hard for me to predict.
Cena's really been pushing the idea of him tying Ric Flair's record for the number of world championships.
Sure.
So this has been a running theme. He wants to make history, from his side, and it's I think it's doing well to raise the stakes of the match.
Right. So what's your prediction?
I think that AJ retains.
Okay. JJ says the same thing, by the way.
Yep. I think AJ retains because I don't think heels. I mean, I think I've said this on Twitter before, and I've never seen the statistics on it. But I don't think heel champions tend to lose very many triple threats and fatal four ways.
Interesting.
On pay-per-view. I don't think so. And because I know the number of times I've had friends over here, and we all sit around and we give our predictions on the spot. I'm always quick to say heel champs don't lose four ways, and then they win. Now I don't think he'll necessarily win clean as a sheet, but I think Ambrose is probably going to eat the pin. And what I was saying earlier about him going, meeting Miz halfway in Miz's rise to the upper card, and Ambrose just taking a pause away from the title for a shot. Probably, and I think it probably leads into Cena versus AJ at Survivor Series for the championship. Okay. Whether or not Cena will be defending there or will be winning the title there, I don't know. But I think AJ gets through the triple threat.
I was all about to lean in on Cena as the champ, that's taking the championship, but you've convinced me that I think it would be better off if AJ retains. I think AJ is a big star. He's a terrific talent. I think, and I do enjoy watching him wrestle. So, even though I've somehow become a John Cena fanatic.
I think there's a good chance Cena wins it too. I just think
I like your notion that he loses it now, but then that sets up a big rematch at Survivor Series.
Yeah, that's looming on the horizon, and it sounds, based on the buzz, that they're going to try to make Survivor Series a big deal this year. And at one time it was a very big deal, and then it kind of lost its significance when they stopped having like the 5-on-5 tag matches and such, and 4-on-4 ones. But but this year, where it'll be the first co-branded pay-per-view coming up.
Yep.
SummerSlam sort of was, but that was still before the draft.
Right.
This is okay. So let me rephrase.
Yeah.
It's the first post-draft buy brand, is that right? I don't know.
Yeah, something like
dual brand pay-per-view. So they probably want the biggest matches that they can have in the main event. So I think Cena versus AJ in some kind of crazy stip match would be good with Cena winning the belt there for his 16-time.
You convinced me. I'm not gonna deny that. I've got to say, Chris also again says the main event could go either way. They'll leave the belt on AJ if they want to keep the Smarks happy.
Yeah.
But then again, we're saying it now, but the WWE has been known to completely go against all.
Oh yeah, they love to zig where we zag for sure.
Yep. Excellent. Well, there are predictions. If I get a chance, I'll type these up. If not, just watch the show and we'll revisit them. I will have them typed up at least for our next show next week. We're hopefully going to have Ben join us. Ben is another one of the folks here at Side Questing. Ben weigh in, and he's got an interesting wrestling background that he wants to share, which would be pretty cool for people to chime in with. Other than that, thank you all for joining us on this shortened episode, but we actually did a pretty good. It was a shortened episode, 45 minutes later. It always ends up that way, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Anyways, thank you everybody for joining us. You can find us at sidequesting.com. JJ unfortunately wasn't with us, but you can find him. He didn't die or anything. He just stuck in traffic. You can find him at _double_J. John, where can they find you?
At John Kehoe, and that's spelled JONKEHOE.
Excellent. You can find me at Dolly Dimofsky. Whatever. I don't want to spell it. Yeah, we are on a bunch of places hosted. I'm just trying to nail down which one to finalize with. But in the meantime, just watch us on the YouTube or on the site. So that's it. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you guys and gals and pets and children on the next SQW.
It's too sweet.
Sweet Christmas.